one last question. With Because the way you described people evolving, I've always associated personal development to Pokemon, which is a bit odd, but then you evolve, you
I
change
like
who you
it.
are, and then you evolve again, you change who you are. And if you want to be pedantic, you've got mega evolutions, but then you never stay the same, you always change, even if you're in the same physical body and you got the same genes. For me, I used to be massively overweight. This was like 2, 3 years ago. And if you look at me today, but like,
Congratulations.
yeah, you look at me today and go, "Oh, how did you go from this to this?" But then that's not the end of my evolution. What would you say? Okay, this is how I'm going to ask this. How would you comfort, because change and evolving can be quite scary, how would you comfort or give guidance to those who are going through an evolution process? To say they're not, well, the example I described where they've gone from obese to basically in, I say, pretty decent shape in comparison. But maybe they're kind of in a further stage where they say they've left their job and they're doing their whatever they want to do full time. But then that way transition where they're going from essentially self-employed to thriving. How would you like reassure them that this is the right change for what they want? Because a lot of people, you were saying about the ego and wants to keep you safe, and that would really play into someone's psyche at that
Mhm.
point. How would you kind of weather the storm or weather the internal battle?
Yeah. Maybe the internal chatter, is that more what you're thinking? Because quite often, again, going back to the ego, your internal chatter can be very strong of what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Everyone is telling you no, this is so difficult. Why did you leave your X, Y, and Z safety or your little comfy zone? Um, I think that as long as you can find moments of pleasure, fulfillment, satisfaction, and happiness in what you're doing, keep going. And why I say moments is it's the equivalent way of seeing happiness. For me, happiness doesn't exist. So whoever tells you, I want happiness, I want to be happy, great. It is a very generic term. What does exist is moments of joy. And that's what makes up happiness. You will never meet someone that's 100% happy all the time. Like, it's quite difficult. It's impossible, right? But the fact that they're focusing more on these moments of joy and have these moments of joy and choose to stay with these moments of joy versus going to the darkness or going to a place that you cannot really enjoy these moments of joy, that's where problems start. That's the equivalent also in business, right? As long as you're ticking these boxes, and when you're an entrepreneur and when you're working for yourself and a solopreneur, things are even more difficult, right? Because you still have bills to pay. Sometimes it's a crowded space. Sometimes you're not really an expert of marketing or sales or difficult conversations, negotiations, and whatnot. So all these are reasons to quit. Don't focus on the reasons to quit. Focus on the reasons to keep going. Focus on the fact that you're waking up in the morning and you don't have a boss, or you're waking up in the morning and you can wake up at 9 versus 6 a.m. in the morning if that's what makes you happy, right? Other people is the other way around. Focus on that moment of joy when you deliver your first product or whatever it is that it is, and you get your first customer review. Focus on these moments of joy, and that is what will keep you going.